So, okay, and here's the unfortunate thing actually. Well, unfortunate, but like, I was positively surprised that we still performed at least halfway nicely, because I have to admit that I actually spent the last 3 days, and I'm not kidding, I spent the last 3 days from the morning till the evening playing Overwatch. I know I told you like 4 days ago that I shouldn't do it again. And then I straight went into it again and played like 3 days, like complete. Yeah, don't ask me, like, I mean, as you all know, it's not like for me, I don't have like a proper job. Okay, no, but seriously, like, I don't have like direct obligations. So whatever I do and whenever I restrain myself, I have to do it myself. There's not like a father or a mother who says, hey, they don't say, hey, life coach, they say, hey, Adrian, you have to do this or this. There is nothing like this. Okay, now you could say, yeah, I mean, whenever you're 18 or 20, there won't be anything like that. But it's not entirely true. Like, depending on what kind of person you are and depending on your environment, you will always get like stuffed into, well, into obligations or into a kind of borders or restraints. These can be hard restraints or they can be soft restraints. Just to name a few examples, like let's say, let's say you have like a girlfriend and your kind of relationship is that she always like forbids you, or not forbids you, but like gives you like certain borders. So for example, whenever you went drinking, then she's angry or whatever, and then you kind of like have the idea, I should not go drinking because then my girlfriend could be angry or something like this. I'm not saying it is how it should be, but I'm just saying some things like this exist. This would be like hard restraints, or then there could be soft restraints from your friends. So let's say you're in kind of a peer group and it's not cool to perform or whatever, or it's not cool to perform, or let's say it's not cool that you pursue your goals and, for example, forfeiting time with your friends for that. Just as one example. So when you, let's say okay, guys, today I don't want to go out because I have to do certain stuff I really want to do, and then they say like, oh, like, what are you for a guy? You don't even have time for your friends. Like, this would be like a soft restraint. Yeah, okay. So, but what I'm saying is, and of course, like, there are also like some hard restraints. Like, if you have a job and let's say you are the opinion that this job you have to keep it, and it's you will get fired unless you do exactly what the job, I'm not even the job asked from you, but like whatever your idea is from people, like whatever, perhaps you have a superior and your superior tells you stuff to do, like you have to do this and this, or you have to be at work from there and then, and you're simply in a fear to lose your job, otherwise again you have hard restraints. Yeah, I don't have anything like this. So like hard restraints, I'm just saying it's also in your mind, it's also in your head. Yeah, I mean, all these things which I just stated are not things I believe in, to be honest, because I believe, for example, in like if you have a job where you fear being yourself, or where your superior has to restrict you from like being yourself, or restricts you from being yourself, chances are that you're probably not in the proper or in the suitable job for you. Okay, the next question should be, okay, is it even good to have a job and whatever, but I'm not even so strict that I say all jobs are not that good. Yeah, I mean, there are people who are actually saying that, yeah, like people who are actually saying, yeah, job means you're also always restricted, but I don't believe in that. I think jobs definitely have their, yeah, their how do you say, justification. Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, so what I'm saying is, yeah, long story short, it's always easier. It's always easier, and it's also. Oh, just give me a second. So what I'm saying is, it's always easier to, and this is also a funny thing. But or do you have any questions to that? Like we can also. I don't want to. Just if you have any questions to that, obviously. I don't even know. I actually, the funny thing is, I only wanted to talk about Hearthstone. Like this is like kind of an intermezzo. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the days and yeah, whatever. Yeah, like always. Whether I can be better at updating when I take a few days break of streaming. Well, as I said, I don't have restraints, so if I if I feel like streaming, I stream. If I don't feel like streaming, I just don't. So, and this is also, again, like I don't feel any soft restraints there. I don't feel that I have to tell anybody if I suddenly don't stream for a few days. Yeah, that's like, obviously, yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, if I feel like updating, I would do so. I mean, it's like, okay, so, yeah, okay, but yeah, no questions. So just continuing shortly with that. So where were we at? Yeah, about the restraints. Okay, so here's the thing. It's always easier to just also tell yourself that you actually have these restraints. So what I'm saying is, now you could ask yourself, yeah, why am I not doing this and this and this? Yeah, this and this and this. What could this and this and this be? Why am I not more myself? Why don't I improve myself more? Why don't I do things which I really want? Why don't I pursue things I really thrive pursuing? Why? And then suddenly, like, you could, I mean, of course it's, let's say, of course you could say, yeah, because I'm too lazy, because I cannot get myself motivated, and or because like I don't feel like it, or because it's just like pretty nasty to do that, like at least to get the initial energy to actually get things done, or at least to begin things. So yeah, but of course you don't tell yourself, oh yeah, I'm too lazy to do that, and actually I could simply do those things, but I'm just too lazy. Yeah, of course you don't say that to yourself. No, what you come I mean, it's much easier to just lie to yourself. You can also just say, hey, well, I would actually do that, for sure I would do that, but I don't have enough time. But otherwise my relationship would suffer. But otherwise I would lose my job. Or whatever, my work-life balance wouldn't be that good. Or I would lose my friends. Whatever it is, guys. Yeah, whatever it is. You can always lie to yourself. Yeah. Just make things up. I mean, of course you won't believe that you actually made those things up, but you can just make these things up. Yeah. So, but the reality, of course, I mean, I could now talk hours about why this is not true. Why you have enough time, why you aren't restrained. I mean, especially nowadays. Yeah, especially nowadays. I mean, it's pretty funny because it really doesn't actually matter where you actually take a look at. Yeah, I mean we have a few dimensions, right? I mean, we have like, okay, let's say 4 dimensions, perhaps we have more dimensions, but what I'm talking about, it really doesn't matter where you look. If you look at different countries, like how you can actually, like how much freedom you actually have in other countries to develop yourself, or like from the restraints you have. You will probably encounter that wherever you live, well, or not wherever you live, but what I'm saying is, even if you, like there are few countries, okay, okay, that's difficult because of course we have like watchers from different countries, but like usually in the Western, how do I say, for example, that's difficult to say, but in Western Europe, for example, in Western Europe you simply have like, even if you wouldn't do anything, you would still always be able to survive, so it's never the threat that you will die or something. It's not a general thing in the world, by the way. There are big parts of the world where if you just don't do anything, you just die, you just starve. Yeah, but this is not the case in Western Europe. If you don't do anything, well, it's not even that you survive. Like you have plenty of food. You have like infinite chunks of food. Like from what you get. I'm not saying that you should take social aid or something. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying you're not in the threat. You're not in the threat of dying. Rather the opposite. Yeah. So that would be like in a geographical consensus. Relative to that. But it's not only about like the place where you are at, but it's also about like the time where you are at. So, for example, 300 years ago, you was bounded to your city. Yeah, you couldn't leave your city. I'm not kidding. 300 years ago, you was actually bounded to the city, and if you wanted to like make a travel from this city to another, like for example, Schiller had those problems. Yeah, so. He was born to a city, so he actually, in order to meet somebody else from another city, he needed to ask his Landes first, like his, how do you say, I don't know what that is, but the owner of the city, just to travel. And we are not talking like 1,000 generations here, we are talking like 20 generations ago. Yeah, good. What is the result of that? Yeah, I guess it's just food for thought. Yeah, it's just food for thought. Think about it. Whenever you think, okay, you cannot do something because of something, chances are that you're making it up. Yeah, because nowadays you're not bounded to anything. In our Western Europe or in Western Europe, you're not bounded to anything. Yeah. There's nothing. A girlfriend? I don't know. If you have something to do, like if you cannot do stuff, so that like your girlfriend must be pleased, perhaps, I mean, there are also other girls, right? I'm not saying it's like, I'm not saying you should not work on a relationship and everything. Like a relationship also has to grow, and of course, in order, it will never be perfect, so of course you have to work on your relationship, but I'm just saying not everybody is suitable for everybody, yeah? But in our, I mean even that, right? I mean like it's not obvious that you have like free partnership choice, but we got that, yeah? Yeah, and that you're restrained to a job, I mean, yeah, okay, whatever. But what I wanted to actually talk about is like how this related now to my situation, basically. Yeah. So again, I don't have restraints, but this makes it much more difficult to restrain yourself actually, because this is like the direct essence. So what I'm saying is, if you actually make up these excuses, and chances are that you don't have like really like open space. Yeah. If you just block all your time frames with something which is not important, or with something which probably doesn't, or perhaps doesn't improve yourself, chances are that you really don't have that much time. Perhaps. I mean, I think it's pretty difficult to block 90, 100 hours a week, or whatever you need to block in order to not to have enough time to do stuff which actually self-improves you. But let's say you do that, okay, then yeah, then there's actually less time to worry about. Okay, but what happens if you actually don't let yourself restrain? Yeah, then suddenly you have all these hours where you have to decide. You have to decide. It's not that you can decide. I mean, if you have like, let's say you have 2 or 3 hours where you can now decide what to do, it's not that you can simply decide to do nothing. I mean, of course you could actively decide to do nothing, but that's also a decision in itself. So suddenly you have to decide actively what to do, how to utilize your time. And this of course brings you and gives you much more responsibility in any given part, or in any given at any given moment, but also in general. Yeah, I don't think I found the right word for that, but it basically gives you the responsibility of your life into your hands, and the more strict you do that, the more freedom, but also the more responsibility for yourself you will have. Yeah. Which can also always be a danger, and this was like what I wanted to talk about. So basically I spent like, let's say, the last 3 or 4 days, or let's say the last full 3 days of playing like Overwatch, something which I actually actively decided against to do it. Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, but it's fun. Yeah, so you can distract yourself with it. Yeah, I was actually not that very motivated for the Hearthstone ladder, because the Hearthstone ladder system without any rewards, and then also people are actually playing suboptimal decks, because if it's for nothing, everybody can just like practice or whatever. There were quite the reasons why I was not that motivated for Hearthstone. So it was actually a distraction, and also not an unpleasant distraction. I mean, it was fun, and I'm actually pretty surprised how good the game. I mean, I don't even play ego shooters, so I was surprised how okay the game was actually. It really made fun. I actually decided against this game after playing it for 1 day. I actually my eyes were burning. I had like shoulder ache, because you're always like this while playing, like constantly, and like the shoulders were aching and all that stuff. Yeah, and I also like the game itself. I was like thinking, okay, how much does it actually improve myself? And I was actually deciding, okay, I probably shouldn't spend any more time into it. And boom, 3 days gone. 3 days later. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, probably. Yeah, these are like, sometimes it's not always right. I mean, sometimes there are good things, but sometimes I have to admit, sometimes I also fail with my discipline. So usually not. Usually I say, okay, I want to do something, and then I also do it like the most time, basically. The most time. Usually I succeed in that. Sometimes, like the last 3 days, that was basically a pure failure. Not even that I did it, but that I did it after I decided against it. So that was a failure. I'm not saying in general that's bad. Yeah, I mean, like if you decide actively, consciously, you want to play Overwatch, you should go for it. But what I'm saying is, you should always do what you decided for yourself is the best. Yeah. So if you decided for yourself you should not do something specifically, yeah, whatever, a good wine or whatever. Let's say you decide for yourself a glass of good wine in the evening. I don't know for whatever reasons you decided that for yourself, but if you did that and you do it, okay, whatever. But if you decided against it and you do it in despite of that, then that's very bad. So yeah, that was a failure, but it doesn't mean that we cannot learn from that. Like always, it's not about how much you fail, but it's about how fast you get up again. Okay, so so actually, yeah, that was actually my last week, to be honest. Yeah, that was actually what kept me busy. It's unfortunate that we nearly lost a week. But keep in mind that we could have also lost a year or something. I mean, there are people who actually spend, let's say, 10 years of watching television, 20 years of watching television, every day, 5 or 6 hours. Yeah, you won't believe it. Yeah. So, I didn't want to offend anybody who's doing that, yeah, by the way. Yeah. If you... Okay, but we were talking about the recap of the week. So if there are like any questions, I will be able to now take a look at it. Take a look at those. What? Lou seriously says, Neria said, I am prettier than Trump. Well, I hope. So, I hope. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure whether Neria meant prettier, right? Okay. So. Dashboard asks, so how do you motivate yourself when you don't have the restraints on you? Well, this is something which you have to learn, of course. It's not like that you are born with that. Yeah, this is exactly that. You're not born with this ability. Why? Because the nature of the animal is that you do exactly what is needed to survive, and usually not more, because that would be like an overlay of energy. And on the other hand, you will probably do nothing which brings you out of any comfort zone, because that could mean that you could die if you do something which is not proven which is not proven safe. And not proven safe is everything you haven't encountered. So you get the point. Like it's like a circle. But nowadays, the funny thing is, we can actually do things and know that we won't die. So, for example, we know that we won't die, but it still feels like dying. Quitting the job if you know it's not the right job for you. Yeah, of course you know life will continue after that, and of course you know that it won't kill you, but perhaps you feel like that it could kill you. Yeah, and then you simply have to draw your emotional feeling after your rational. First, you conclude rationally that you should quit, and then you also have to find your consens, your emotional consens with the idea of quitting your job, and then you should just do it. Yeah, please don't stop your jobs now, but for those who are in the wrong jobs, please do. So, hi Jeffy, how are you doing? Okay. What? I just quit my job and now I have no plans and no restraints, but I also have no real work ambition or personal ambitions. Yeah, that and that doesn't sound good. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. Yeah, it's not like this is up to you to find out. It's not up to me to find that out. As I said, the powers has to come from within, not from internally, not externally. Yeah. This is something also, I mean, this is why, I mean, of course, like, yeah, I know there's also, I mean, yeah, with my screen name and stuff like this, but actually, like, I know there's also a lot of, I wouldn't say rubbish out there, but like if you hear life coaching, usually it's like, yeah, it's pretty silly because there are a lot of abusers out there. Yeah, there are a lot of people who actually want to make money with it. For example, yeah, not. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong to make want to try to make a living out of it if you help other people. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. But it's like I think like proper life coaching doesn't inflict a lot of payment, because the proper life coaching is exactly that, trying to bring the people to activate their internal powers, and not just putting like some frame over them. There are a lot of these like life coaches, they jump around like on some kind of show, and then they tell you like how stupid you are, and like how you can simply change it by doing this and this and this, and then you will be successful like they are, and all this rubbish. And I mean, needless to be said, most of them though are not even successful themselves in life. That is the first thing. But the second thing is, I mean, this is also how you actually generate revenue. But the reality and the real truth is, all those people won't really improve themselves by watching somebody. Yeah, like why should you improve yourself? It's a very, there's also no quick, and this is also another thing, there are no shortcuts. Anybody who tells you can change your life within a week is a pure liar. It doesn't even need a week, it doesn't even need a year. To change your life, you need years of dedication. And I'm not even talking about these 2 hours per day. I'm talking about years of like full-time dedication. Yeah. And now this might sound like a big thing, like years of full-time dedication, oh my god, oh my god. But the thing is, it will come from itself. It will come from itself because like it's simply a positive feedback loop. Once you know how to do it, once you get into the habit of doing that, you will only do that because it's so much fun, and it's so bad if you just don't succeed in it. Let's say you have some goal and you know exactly, okay, if I pursue this goal, I'm feeling good. On the other hand, if I fuck it up and I do something which distracts me, I know myself that it will distract you if I don't lie to myself, and then it will feel awkward. It will feel very bad. So the general thing is just to understand the principle, and then you won't even have a problem of dedication. Yeah, because this is the thing which makes the most fun. Yeah, I know it sounds a little bit contradictory. How can be like pursuing your goals be a lot of fun? And yet it can be. Yeah. Yet it can be, because you build up, and after every week, after every month, you will feel successful because you achieved and you closed the gap to your goal. Or even, it's not even closing the goal, because the goal is always, it's like the carrot in front of you, like in front of the horse, the carrot. You always run into after the carrot, and you will always feel that you haven't achieved it quite yet. But then, once you take a look at 2 or 3 years ago, you are always astonished, or even half a year ago, you're always astonished how well you made. On the other hand, if you distract yourself all the time, you will sometimes be astonished how quickly your 10 or 20 years of your life faded away. I'm not saying the life, it was just a number, yeah, but years, if you are not utilizing your time, they will disappear in nowhere. Vanished, just gone, in the wind. Okay, but that's another topic. So I will continue taking a look at the questions. And yeah, I don't drink. Yeah, I don't take any drugs, which actually, in my opinion, but that's another excursion. In my opinion, this here is what makes the human human. Yeah, not the muscles, not that they are especially fast. Any animal can run faster, is stronger, and so on and so on. I think the mind is the only thing which, not the only thing, but the most important thing which actually distinguishes from an animal. And as such, I think like the speciality, or our speciality, like why we are who we are, is lying here, like in the mind. And I think anything of drug or whatever numbs you, or you use it to distract you, will take a little bit out of your essence. And don't mean it in a spiritual way. Yeah. Yeah. This is how I see it. Yeah. So I don't see the necessity of numbing anything which makes you safe. Okay. But yeah. Okay. So let's. So we have people that spend 5+ hours every day on Twitch for multiple years already. Yeah, that might be, but that doesn't change. That doesn't change it. That actually means that I like watching streams when you okay. The one thing doesn't mean that, I mean, what I'm saying is then especially, then I'm at the right place especially, but I think like, I mean, I think people on Twitch are different from the people in front of the screen, to be honest, but that's another thing. Okay. What? I get 20 bucks if I start playing. But unfortunately you cannot. So Yeah, from the Dark North is saying also the philosophy for achieving your goals is not that simple. Should you always try to achieve to your greatest potential, and why? I actually am not surprised that that came from you, by the way. Yeah, because like from what I know and from the chat interactions, I know that you always are like the double questioner. I think for you especially, but that's like a really rare thing I do here, like personal coaching for free. But for you, it would definitely help you taking action in your life. And not like, I think, but could be a little bit personal. Yeah, but if you want to take this advice, you are free to do so. So I think you're especially like one of the people who actually make excuses. Yeah. So why should I achieve these things? Perhaps it was a little bit personal. Don't take it too personal. I really mean it like as a general thing. Yeah. But like from what I actually encountered and from the chat interaction during the last months with you, it really seems like that it's like exactly this. Like I mean, this sentence also says it, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, you could actually pursue things to your potential. But why should you even do so? I mean, even the question itself, I mean, I know what you're saying, and I know that we can even go deeper and deeper into philosophical meanings. We could even come into a direction where we would say, yeah, in the end, nothing matters and everything, if you meant that. But there is also something like common sense, common understanding. Of course, in order to find out whether you should strive to your highest potential, you would first need to check out what your preferences are. Like, what you make yourself happy in life? Or like, no, I mean, this is like another, because happiness is not, like, you would need to first ask yourself, like, who do you want to be? And what are actually my values? And then again, you could even ask deeper and ask yourself, like, whether your values are the values you would like to have. Yeah, before that you cannot decide. Like first you have to ask yourself, okay, what's important for me? Is being successful important? Like successful in which areas? Is happiness for me important? Is achieving things and striving goals important for me? So let's say you concluded for yourself, okay, I want to be as happy as possible. Well, then there are different possibilities to achieve that. But then again, you have also to ask yourself, like, whether you really think that happiness is like the biggest goal, or whether like achieving things is not simply cooler, better, or perhaps even achieving more happiness by doing that. Yeah, if you get what I'm saying. So perhaps you will first think, okay, happiness is what I want in my life, and then you will ask, and you will whatever, let's say you will go partying or whatever promises you happiness. But then perhaps you will come to a point where you say, okay, all this partying doesn't even give me happiness. And then you will perhaps try to achieve something, perhaps even something which helps other people, and suddenly you will feel happier, and then suddenly you feel it's like a revelation, because you will suddenly see, okay, actually this makes me happy. It's just one example. Let's continue. Okay. Yeah, I really think we could talk weeks or days about that for sure. Okay. Yeah, the Lee says he's having real troubles with depression, and any advices. Well, I actually made like a talk about, well, kind of that, like what happens if you fall back and if you don't feel really well. And it's not only negative, like there's always a chance, or it's also always a possibility. Just think about, like, if you don't feel that good, if you don't feel that well. I think we also have to distinguish, to make a distinction. Of course, there's the real depression, and the real depression is because your brain is malfunctioning, and this means like you don't emit certain neurotransmitters, and then you will have a depression. This is something I cannot help you with. You should get like treatment for that. But the thing is, this is extremely rare. So if you talk about depression, chances that you don't have a depression are extremely high, like a chemical depression. Because like chemical depressions, if you take a look, let's say 50 years ago, people just didn't have depressions nearly at all. There were these small number of people who actually had this like problem with the neurotransmitters, but that's it. Nowadays, a lot of people are depressed, and why? Like, there are a lot of reasons for that. Yeah, especially if you are male. And I'm not saying this in a sexistic way, but as a man nowadays, you don't have like the role you had like 50 years ago. Also not the role understanding. Yeah. So it's not that, like, again, this is what I meant with sometimes the responsibility is really difficult. Like in earlier times, you simply knew what you had to do and you just did it in your life. I'm not saying that was correct, but I'm just saying now you have a lot of freedom. So now you don't have restraints, but that at the same time also means you have to decide. Nobody takes the decision away from you, but if you don't decide, chances that you get sad are much higher, because as I said, this whole partnering, which actually promises you happiness, you can probably assume that's not the way. But then again, there are all the other questions which actually can bring you, the purpose question, for example. Yeah. So the purpose question, nowadays we have to answer ourselves the purpose question, right? Because otherwise we cannot decide what we would like to do. And if these questions actually remain unanswered, chances that it could get sad are not low. What I spoke about the tobacco relapse some weeks ago, did it work out okay? Yeah, exactly. Like I spoke a few weeks ago about that I vaped some, and I also talked about like how I will of course quit it again, and I mean that was actually not the problem. Yeah, simply because like I talked about it, right? I mean I already talked about it why it probably won't be a problem, and it also wasn't. The view on physical exercise is part of a healthy lifestyle. Well, I think you need a minimum of physical activity to keep yourself healthy, right? Like minimum, what I mean is like in general, if you do, you can just combine them. You don't need additional physical exercise. If you, let's say, you take your walks, or sometimes you drive somewhere with a bicycle and stuff like this, if you incorporate it in your life in general, not eating super unhealthy stuff and stuff like this, chances are that you don't need additional exercise. Especially because it just costs time, right? So why should you do it if it's not necessary? But it's only not necessary if you incorporate it in your life. Yeah, that's obvious. Okay. Okay, I see. Farragon, for example, is like, I know now we are in the philosophical, but in the standard life coach thing. But I will do it today, right? Because like the thing is also, I also wanted to just talk about DEX, but let's reserve like half an hour to talk about these topics. Because actually this month I don't want to play any. So this month means yeah, today. Okay, so I actually wanted to talk with like deck building stuff and which decks we will play. I will talk about this later. So Farragon asked about like the general specifications, and like he has like a one arm disability, and he wonders about the nature restriction and that it blocks things which could lead to maximizing the potential. I mean, the thing is also accepting, of course, your own restrictions is part of it. So, for example, I would perhaps, like actually I found now an area which I really love and which I want to pursue. So that's why I'm doing it at the moment. Otherwise I wouldn't. But yeah, I mean, there was also some areas where I could have imagined myself to be in, but I also saw probably I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, whatever, like if you talk about physical things, yeah, of course I imagined myself like being like whatever, great in volleyball, great in golf, but then perhaps I was not good enough for that. So like at least not good enough to be professional in it. I didn't even want to probably being professional in it, but you know, like the idea is like just to wonder how it would be if you would be really great at that. But then again, sometimes you have to also perhaps double check, like a reality check. So perhaps sometimes, I mean, it's, what I'm saying is there are thousands of areas which could be appealing, and ideally you actually check like not only like what you would like to do, but also whether you are also able to do it, right? I mean, the usual smart thing, like the usual, yeah, how you should pursue your goals and that they are achievable and reachable and timeable and so on and so on. The smart thing is just, but you get the point. So I think just checking different areas, and then if something really grasps your attention, think about like what your goals would be in this area and whether they are realistically achievable. And if you think so, then just go for it. I mean, what I'm saying is, of course, I wouldn't focus on what I'm not able to do, but rather I would focus on what I actually am able to do. Yeah, I know it's easier said than to be done, but yeah, but that's that's how I see it. Okay. What, talking about depression, laughing? Well, as a matter of fact, but I also talked about that already. But I'm actually thinking I'm not quite a general happy person or something like this. So, if talking about depression, I mean, I guess I very often feel like what other people would classify as depression, but I just don't see it like that. Yeah, because I know it will pass, and I also know that whenever I feel the very worst, afterwards it just went up. It just got better again. Of course, it's like the case, right? I mean, if you have like, let's say, this is like the amplitude, and if you are here, yeah, the only direction is up. Yeah, I mean, this is of course one thing, but I really encountered that whenever I feel the very worst in my life, if I didn't surrender to it and just, yeah, the distraction, party, drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, whatever, if you didn't give up or give in into those, chances that you will actually really take it as an opportunity and then resurrect from this very bad state into a much better state are really high, actually. Well, to be honest, I have encountered that like dozens of times in my life, like dozens, really, like, and yet every time it happens again, I still haven't learned it, like subjectively, and even like with my wife. Sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my wife and I'm telling her, wow, this was like really like, this was like really, I have to add this actually, my wife, yeah. Okay, so just give me a second to tell her. Okay, cool. So yeah, when I actually told her, okay, now this was really crappy, or now it's like such a bad situation in life, and then she's saying, yeah, but whenever you said that you basically, like, good things happened, yeah, very good things happened. Whenever there was some improvement, before that you always felt like a little bit bad and stuff like this. And then I'm like, hey, yeah, actually you're right. Actually you're absolutely right. But it's just funny for me, for myself. It's really funny because like I probably encountered this like dozens of times, uncountable amounts of times. But still, every time it happens again, I feel like it's the first time because it just feels so bad, right? Yeah. But the reality is, you just, yeah, as I said, like you just resurrect in a much better fashion than. Just give me another second. Okay, good. This is this. So from the dark north. So he's saying the essential core of analytical thinking is exactly that, to question everything as thoroughly as possible. I actually find a little contradictory from you that you have deep analytical game analysis but disagree about different angles. And not much disagreeing with, okay. So here's the thing. You cannot be perfect. There is nothing like doing a specific thing perfect. What I'm saying is, it's always about gain and loss. You know, or like about how you want to spend your time. And you can go with the analysis. Like how I see it, analysis is important. But actually, you need to also do the things you actually came up in the analysis. Otherwise, you won't have a reality check. So it's pretty much about the reality check. Yeah, you can think about a lot of things, but then you need a reality check. Because if you don't do the reality check, chances are that if your analysis is at any point wrong, all following conclusions are also wrong. Yeah, so you need this you need this reality check. And how it usually works is you do analysis, reality check, analysis, reality check, and this is also how you improve. Yeah. What I'm saying is, like with such a question you asked earlier, chances are that you are exactly that you make up things and build up your analysis on them, just not doing things. Hence not having a reality check. Hence not improving. Yeah. But that's, yeah. Okay. What is this? Dominic got really fast during the. No, sorry. Like, I don't think it's. I mean, you know it. You know it yourself, right? I mean, I don't. As I said, I'm not like a motivational trainer. Like, the motivation has to come from within. If you think like you don't like yourself how you are and you want to be something different, or like, or let's say you really think it's extremely important for you not to have the weight you say you have, and like you want to be, let's say, more athletic or whatever. If it's a real strive and you really want that, you will probably just do it. So it's like, I mean, what can I tell you, right? I mean, you already know what you should do, and this is also why you ask after, like. But as I said, like I'm not a motivational trainer. I'm not somebody who says it's okay, please do that, please do it, please do it. Yeah, it's like, for me, like I really don't care. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, not don't care. I mean, like what I'm saying is I don't know personally, right? So it's like, of course, I would rather see that it goes in the direction you would like it to have. But the work, like you have to do the work. I cannot do the work for you. Yeah, like that's pretty clear. And this is also like what I actually had in mind while doing like philanthropic work, if you want to say so. So my plan is really to achieve, to actually provide opportunities. So what I wouldn't like simply, like I would not like to simply, let's say, I mean, for some areas it might be important, but what I would not like to do is just to give something to a certain area, but what I would like to do is like creating opportunities. So actually creating opportunities for people who actually want to change their life or want to actually achieve something. For those where it's still not possible, I would really like to create these opportunities. But that's also a different thing, and this is also what I actually had in mind for the year 2016, or the second part of the year 2016. So I was actually already thinking about, like, for the second part of 2016, really, yeah, I already talked about it, right? I mean, learning a new language, then going into areas where, like, which I need, and then communicating, and then perhaps find good, solutions. Okay, good. Okay, so should we? Huh? What? Theoretical physicists. That's what experimental physicists are for. Okay, so if you're a theoretical physicist, then you're excused. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but they have to do reality. Yeah, exactly that. Basically, what Nika Colley is saying. Yeah. Good. 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 What? Mr. Agut went to rank 1 again. Did he make it? Wow, 666 guys. Yeah. It's really sick. So now he's celebrating, yeah. I will take a look at that later. So, yeah, whenever somebody achieves rank 1, I will take a look at this. It's not often. Okay, so should we continue? So what was it? That was the recap of the week. Yeah. Okay, pretty long recap of the week, but these are like things which I get myself some water. But these are things which really kept me busy. Yeah, things which really kept me busy also in general, like even today, I mean, as you know now, like today is the first day where I actually haven't played Overwatch, but it's not because I didn't like to play Overwatch. As a matter of fact, I actually uninstalled it, yeah, like I always do, right? I mean, if I decide against something, I just uninstall it, for example, if it's a game, and yeah, I mean, as a matter of fact, like today, I really had to, not even, it's like, it's not easy. It's not easy because, like, yeah, let's not talk about Overwatch. Let's just continue with Hearthstone, really. But it's just like so weird. It's like about the endorphin and stuff like this. If you enjoy something, and if you really ask yourself, I mean, it's not even that different to drugs. I mean, I don't know drugs, not hard drugs, but what I'm saying is, perhaps it's not different to something like sugar. Yeah. So if you eat sugar, you feel a little bit better. Like it's always about the same principle. So you feel a little bit better short term, but long term it's worse for you. Yeah. It's always the same principle. Short term good, long term bad. But unfortunately, our brains are not that easily built. So our brains actually realize the short term impact. Yeah. Good. But what they don't realize, if it's bad afterwards, I mean, you will feel bad and you will feel worse, but you won't be able to connect it with the event. Because probably you will feel, whatever, you have been out drinking and you felt very good while being drunk. But the next morning you feel like crappy as hell. But you just cannot connect this because, I mean, yes, you drank like too much beer or too many beer 12 hours ago. But how should that ever relate to your state of being completely hangover now? Yeah, exactly. Perhaps rational you could, perhaps rational you could, of course, connect it, but you don't really connect it emotionally and how we actually make decisions is emotional. Yeah, this is how we decide. Of course, our whole being is more or less emotional, but so it's not that easy to distinguish even between those two. Even irrational thinking is emotional, but or emotionally tainted. But what I'm simply saying is, I think the real art is to actually connect things which you actually can understand rationally, to connect those and then incorporate them emotionally. This is at least how I do it. So if I, for example, want to stop smoking, I just get myself to feel so bad about myself whenever I, for example, smoke again, that I actually can make the connection. So I'm again, like I'm already feeling bad while smoking, for example. I haven't smoked for years, like more than 1 decade, but I just say like that was actually the process how I stopped smoking over the course of like 2 years or something. Yeah, that whenever I started again, I just connected it directly. Yeah, and yeah, perhaps like this is my way. Like there are of course different ones, but this is like how I felt being the most successful in these. And the same goes for anything else you want to achieve. Yeah, so that was what I meant, like with like, achieving your goal. So whenever I actually do something which actually brings me closer to my goal, I actually have automatically an emotional positive connection. Okay, good. So let's continue with what could it be? Yes, the plans to come. The plans to come. Yeah. Let's take a look at the tournament calendar. Well, and this is also something like I also feel important. Like things you actually don't do while you don't want to do them are also achievements. So what like one big goal of the next month to come is not playing Overwatch. Just because it has been a problem, but you get the point. Like things you strive to do, but you don't want to do consciously. Meaning also achievements. Yeah, Overwatch is a very bad example. Like if you eat too much and you think, or if you eat the wrong stuff, I don't even think you can, like, it's very hard to eat too much if you eat. Okay, again an excursion. But like for all those who are actually saying, oh, I'm not feeling full, I have to eat more, chances that it's just about like the nutrition value are very high. So whenever I mean, you know about my visits in the US, but sometimes if I ate what was available because there was nothing else around, I felt like I ate a lot. Like I was completely full, but I didn't even feel full. So I felt hungry and full at the same time. It never happens here. I just eat my cereals, I eat healthy stuff. Whenever I feel full, I'm full for hours. But not only that, but it's like I actually eat so much, but I never get, like, I don't know, like it's yeah, you get the point. I think if you eat the right things, you can just always eat until you're full. Yeah, it's not a problem. You don't need to be hungry, and still you don't get fat if you eat the right things. Yeah. But that should also not be rocket science, to be honest. Yeah. But okay, so if you actually understand that you eat and drink the wrong stuff, especially drinking, by the way, you can drink a lot of the wrong stuff. And I'm not talking about alcohol here. I'm talking about like sugar in drinks, which is just silly. I mean, if you have some drink which, for example, consists 10% out of sugar, which is not rare nowadays. Yeah, I know it sounds funny, but it's even common that drinks are actually persisting 15% out of sugar, and you drink 1 liter of those Coca-Cola or whatever, yeah, then, yeah, or Coca-Cola or some random soft drink, they all have like 15% of sugar. Like you just ate 150 grams of sugar, pure sugar, and I'm not even talking about that. This is pure white industrial sugar. Just think about it. I can still not understand that a whole culture actually built around that soft drinks, but that's a different story. Yeah. But yeah, chances are that you can. Yeah, if you want to stop soft drinks, you can be proud of yourself if you really didn't drink soft drinks for a day. If you used to drink 2 liters of soft drinks every day, and once you actually are proud of yourself just because you could stop for even 1 day, then you can build up on that. Then you can say, okay, now I did it for 1 day. Now I can try for a week. And then a month, yeah, it's really silly. Yeah, I know, a month is so long, but this is how it can work. So what did I say? Plans for the months to come, not playing Overwatch, but that's only a small thing, because like, what are the other things? Tournaments. What are the tournaments? The Chinese Ultra League, we are in the top 8 there. It will continue on the 4th of December, so in 4 days. We are already prepared with our 9 decks. Our 9 decks being like the decks we actually brought today. And we also have the